Hello, sorcerers! Welcome to the realm, or this part of the realm, this corner of the realm. Today's video will be one of those more sort of laid back videos. We're not going to open mail though, and we're not going to just talk about YouTube comments. What we're going to talk about, as you could tell from the thumbnail and hopefully the title of the video, ultimately is going to be multiplayer. And not just 4-player multiplayer, but also Two-Headed Giant, which is a variant that's being pushed by some folks in the community, and we're going to show those off. Those do require sometimes that you get different playmats than you might have already, which can be an expense, but there are ways to get around that. You can literally draw it on paper, large scale, sort of like rolled paper, just thin. You can get that at Staples super cheap. So there's a lot of ways that we can make this happen, and it doesn't have to be an attack on your wallet. We'll talk about the reasons for multiplayer sorcery. Some people are against it in the community. Some people are afraid that it becomes Magic Commander. I hear those fears, and I don't dismiss them. I mean, Magic Commander, I agree, when Wizards seized upon Commander as the main format, they really kind of did it at the expense of all other formats by starting to print and produce cards for Commander that were sometimes too powerful for other formats that they could slide into. And they kind of did it a little haphazardly, and they kind of put all their focus on it, and standard and other formats that people enjoyed slowly kind of died away as the multiplayer craze kicked in. My personal opinion on it was that I didn't really love Commander being adopted by WotC. I played Commander when it was EDH, or Elder Dragon Highlander. Thanks Ed Beard for making most of those Elder Dragons in the first place. Yeah, I played EDH before, and I thought it was growing at a sort of like organic, a calm rate. It was nice to use just a couple of cards out of the standard card pool that were good enough or weird enough to put in EDH, and it was very cheap to get into, which ultimately, I think, when the fire hose was turned on from corporate by WotC, and Hasbro, let's be honest, Hasbro is probably the puppet that holds the strings. It skyrocketed the prices of so many cards in Magic the Gathering, which was great if you had a good collection, but terrible if you were trying to get into the game new. And neither here nor there. We are here to talk about why it is different in sorcery. There's a lot of reasons, and we'll get into those. But instead of you just staring at my OBS screen as I disappear into the void, let's go ahead and look at some things here. So, first of all, if you're interested at all in checking out what multiplayer sorcery might look like, so this is 1v1v1v1, 4-player. This was taken at SorceryCon, I believe. Yeah, it's 4-player chaos at SorceryCon. It is Wizards of Fun, who is like behind the camera in this shot. And then not only that, but we have Zach and Phil from the Common Sense Sorcery podcast up here. And we also have Ryan, who is from Roaring Turkey Sorcery online. And those are all different YouTubers. You can go to subscribe to them. It would be awesome. Also, I'll just say it outright. 90% of viewers of my channel are not subscribed. So 9.5 something percent of viewers of Rule Zero are subscribed. So if you watch my content and you at all enjoy it, if you value me trying to keep doing this, please subscribe, and even comment on videos, even if it's just a brief like, hey, how you doing? I'm happy to talk with you. But those things really help me out, and we're pushing for 500 subscribers right now. So that's going to be my little small pitch. I won't berate you with it, but in order for me to keep doing this, it is going to be probably necessary for me to start bringing in some money instead of just expending mass amounts of money. And I'm not going to do that by like extorting any of you. I'm just going to do it by, hopefully we can get to 1,000 subscribers, which is where it allows me to have small ad placements in the video, or it can allow me to have other options where I can do at 500 subscribers, something I can't do now. So we'll talk about that more when it happens, but that's my small pitch. I just would really appreciate it if you subscribe. People have already been jumping on board, and that's been wonderful, but I'm going to make this a real thing. 2 videos a week, and I'm working a full-time job and trying to take care of a house that's trying to fall apart on me all the time. So, please help out. Multiplayer sorcery. This is an excellent video from all of these creators. It's a blast. It's well edited. It took a long time for Wizards of Fun to do this, from what I understand. And this playmat, we're going to get to it where you get this playmat that has like all the cool sort of thresholds and counters and life counters and stuff on it. I actually picked one up, and we'll show it off in a minute. But if you want to know what multiplayer sorcery can be like, check this video out. In this game, they have a center square. They use cards that are downloadable from this website right here. This is sorcerymultiplayer.com, all one word. And this is from an artist, the cards at least are from an artist called Osmond Koski, which I highlighted on this video, or on this YouTube channel before. He did my sweet little Gothic box insert, which I did a review of, and I still use to this day. So it's pretty neat. It has place for tokens. I love it. I put little packing peanuts in it to keep the tokens in place, but it's been wonderful, and it makes the sweet Gothic box into something that is not, you don't have to throw it away. But anyways, he did art for sorcery multiplayer cards. Now these are going to be impossible to see on the camera, but you can download them here. So if you were to download these, you could kind of maybe see them. See if we zoom in a little bit. Yes, there we go. So, for instance, we have the orb here. Controller's opponents each take 3 damage at the end of the controller's turn and cannot heal. The bearer loses stealth, and if they take damage, they drop the orb. The orb cannot leave the surface. And where is the orb, you might say? Well, the orb is, let me see if I can flip this thing. No, this little photo thing is not going to let me just flip the image for you so you could easily see this site. But it's called the Nexus, and these things sit in the center square of the giant playmat for multiplayer. And basically, each avatar will try to expand and race to the point where they can control the orb, and they get this sweet bonus at the end of their turn. So, and people will fight over it, and the land itself creates all threshold, and then also does damage too. So you can play with one or both, but it's I really appreciate these cards because they speed up a game that can go a little long. But this also has game rules that you can use. Now their grid's going to look a little different. You'll notice these cutouts on the other side of the board where they have like 3 squares each that are all removed. In the playmat that I'm going to show you, there's options. You can use this, or you can use the playmat that we use, which basically expanded the board to a full 49 by 49 grid, which was nuts. And I had a blast. I thought it was super fun to do that. So you see here, Osmond Koski is the artist who did the multiplayer kind of art for these cards and is involved in the playtest prototype, and just has this up for free. So I printed these out on my own personal printer, and the quality of the print was not great. I'm assuming if you have a cool like laser printer or something, you can print these out a lot cleaner than I did, because the PDF seems clean and high enough resolution maybe till you get deep into it. Check out Osmond Koski's cool little Japanese signature there. It's even in the, we can really dive deep into this art here. Anyway, so So that's one way that you can play multiplayer. It's just free-for-all, as they would call it. Free-for-all would require you, though, to get a new mat. So you can either sort of get one of these things, these designs, these grids that are printed out, and make it on your own neoprene mat, get a custom thing done, or you can go online. Now there's two different options. The first kind of looks like the mat that the Osman-Koski kind of PDF shows. It misses these three sections on each side, but it's a large mat. It's 100 by 100 centimeters, so this is a larger size. It's stitched edges, goes for $40.83, plus I'm assuming there would be some shipping costs. Cost to ship, yeah, $57. So it says $40.83, but the truth is that it's going to come out to like $99, and it ships from Hong Kong. So it's a pricey thing. So if you just want to draw it out, totally fine. I get it. The one that I got, now this one has good reviews, lots of 5 stars. There's another view of it. But the one I got is this one. This is from Spain now. Cost to ship $19.40. But if you get the 7x7 like I got, then you can also get different designs, which is pretty cool. So this Roland Mats company from Spain, they make lots of different mats. And as you can see, the designs you can get are customizable. I believe I got this one right here. Yeah, I just liked having like this kind of cool mountainous thing in the background. And the cool thing about this one is it's 110 centimeters or 43 inches by 43 inches, very large for the 7x7. But you can, you get these life counters on the side, and you get the threshold here, and it's the same kind of mat you see in this video right here. And I think they probably got the bluer one, so it looks real pretty. It's nice. It has these firm, I don't know if they're stitched edges, but I think they might be. Maybe we'll take a look at mine in a minute. It's numbered, so each square is numbered. That's really helpful. And as you can see, everybody here is having a joyous time. Let's get an above view of how the game board looks. And yeah, there's some chaos involved, but there's a lot of coolness involved also. Like, there's more void spaces. There's more... somebody has an arcade of bones right here. So this dapper vampire and any other undead minions are kind of just able to like run through this space unhindered, untargetable. So the more cards that deal with the expanse, the better. Like I play a Yogg Sothoth oft times, and I'll like park him up in a corner of the multiplayer games that I've played before. And it takes a while for folks to get to him, even though they can attack him on any square. He can kind of just hide in that corner, just causing mischief and chaos with his 10 power self. So this custom playmat that I am looking at, you can also get, there's a 4-player mat that's a 6x6 mat. So it's going to be a little smaller. The 6x6 mat, let's see if they have an image of it. Maybe it's this one right here. Probably doesn't see as much play, but yeah, I don't even know if they show the 6x6 mat, which is weird. You would think they would, but perhaps it's not a huge seller. And it's even numbered, so it'll be interesting because like you're not going to have a center square, which is a little weird. So where do you put your avatars in that 6x6? 7x7 makes it easy. So if you're interested in 4-player multiplayer, there aren't any really official rules for that variant. It is kind of a free-for-all. We're just designing it as whoever your home group is. You can design it as you wish. It's a super fun sandbox to play in. Very casual. You'll need large size tables as I show. Maybe I'll go ahead and get this mat now just to show you what it looks like. Aha. here we go. So, yeah, wonderful, right? This thing is huge, but it comes in this really nice hard cardboard with this made with Roland Matte sticker on it. Very well taped on the outside whenever I first got it. There was even staples in it to prevent it from loosening up. And then the playmat on the inside, very well taken care of. It is stitched on the edges. As you can kind of see, it's very nice. Has no odor to it, which is something they advertise, but is cool because there are some playmats that get a little smell to them. They are made of fabric or a kind of fabric sometimes, so maybe they get mildewy. I have no idea, but really nice playmat. You hear the thud as I drop it on the ground, so you haul the thing in there and it looks like a bazooka. The reason why I think multiplayer is super fun is you don't have to play 4, you could play 3. If you have 3, what do you do with that person who's just sitting and watching sorcery games? Get them involved, you know? Also, number 2 really catches a lot of people's eyes. When we pulled this thing out in the shop, everybody was stopping by. We made sure to park our tables near the front entrance, and everybody who came by was like, what is happening? We've never seen anything like this in our other card games. And it was a blast. And we were all having a great time. I think another thing is that Eric's Curiosa, I just trust them more inherently than I trust WotC and Hasbro. I think they're committed to the bit and will be for a long time. I think they're committed to the idea of sorcery being 1v1. They're only going to print that one set a year, so you don't want to take that space up for design for a format that is very niche and a lot of people don't play. So I think there's a lot of fear. I don't think it's warranted at this point. Maybe there'll be a point where it is, and I'll be honest if it is. But I think for now, it's just a really fun way to get all your friends involved in sort of a chaotic, nuts game. And sure, it can be a little difficult to see like what is tapped and what isn't tapped or on the board, but we're humans with big brains. And I don't say that to be very condescending, I hope, but I think people work something up to be way more difficult than it is, because in playing 4-player, yeah, those things came up, but they weren't hard. Like, we're able to like figure out pretty easily what the board state looks like. It's not like we're all sweaty, you know, sitting at the button for nuclear war, just being like, really focused on like, I have to make the perfect move in a multiplayer game. That's not the point of a multiplayer game. The point of a multiplayer game is to go nuts, to just be like, I'm going to do the craziest thing I can ever do in this game, and sometimes play cards that I cannot play in 1v1 competitive or 1v1 even casual, because they're maybe just not good enough. And I think there's a lot of room for that in multiplayer. So I hope that you all can give it a try, even if you use sort of the printout mats and stuff like that. No shame, you know, do what you got to do. But let's go to the other possibility. If you don't like the Wild Westness of multiplayer or having to buy a mat from overseas, there is an option called Two-Headed Dragon. And this is often pushed by Sorcery. Two-Headed Dragon rules are pushed by Bay Area old school magic and sorcery. They also have a YouTube channel called Beasts of the Bay. So if you see them, go ahead and subscribe. It seems like they release gameplay videos. Here they have coverage of Sorcery Contested Realm, Two-Headed Giant live stream. So Two-Headed Giant, if you're not familiar, is a play, as they say here, on Magic Two-Headed Giant, where you have a team. They have different rules, so it's not as Wild West as multiplayer is. So the rules are, they share them down here. You have a 9x4 grid, so it's much thinner. You can play it on one table, whereas with these giant multiplayer mats, you may need to push 2 tables together unless you've got a nice square kind of poker table that you can use, or a nice round poker table that is meant to have a lot of people sitting around it. But regular old like folding table stuff like that, you may have to push two together and then lay the bigger mat on it. Well, with the 9x4, it's just much wider and longer, but it's the same sort of depth. So you won't have to do that. You get 2 players on a team. They share 30 life. Um, Once a team is on death's door, you must deal a killing blow to each avatar individually. Okay. That player's stuff, the dead player's stuff doesn't leave, but they don't get to draw cards anymore once they hit death's door. So they sort of slowly peter out in importance in the game and what they can do. Everything's pretty much the same, but they've banned a couple cards. Courtesan Theus, which is a card that takes other people's turns, and Roots of Yggdrasil, which destroys everything in the realm, as you can see here, which I guess is so much of a setback that they're kind of like, we don't want that in our game. I guess I understand. Me, I'd play it. And I think you're free to do whatever you want, It's if you play this game with your friends, you can make it whatever rules you want. They also do some card errata here. Imperial Road targets one opponent, not both opponents getting to play a site, which is nice. So things like that make sense. They have a unified version of Two-Headed Giant, can be extremely fun. You'll be pre-planned with your fellow Dragonhead. This synergy will pay off as you partner or share a common card pool. So that's what the unified piece is. We're not having 2 decks, but we could play 4 grapple shots, 5 grapple shots, whatever. So they have rule changes. They've been doing a lot of work on this, and then they have a example grid layout of how it looks in 9x4, which is really nice. I mean, this is cool. You can order a playmat through them if you contact their Gmail. I'm not sure how much that is going for, but really nice. Put a lot of work into this. So if that kind of like piques any interest in you, I'm glad. Outside of that, I mean, I guess this will be a little bit of a shorter video because I don't really have any gameplay to share with the folks yet. But coming up, this was kind of a lull in the week. I didn't have a lot of mail coming in. I've got some boxes coming in, so we're even going to do more box openings. Thanks Norwegian Blue, who is often in the comments and says like, oh, you need to get 3 of each. I was like, okay, sure. I can't resist a good reason to go buy another box and gamble some more. So, I checked the finances and, sold some Magic cards, and there we are. So we've got a couple more boxes. Arthurian Legends. In the news, we've got, unfortunately, we have Ring of Morrigan just being bought up. And now let's see what this thing is going for right now, because it has been spiking. And so let's see. Ring of Morrigan. Yeah. I mean, it did spike to above 250 for a moment, and now it seems like it's kind of leveling out and trying to drop some to a more reasonable price. But still, it has jumped. And I think with the number, see, most are like 225. Even at Cold Foil Heroes, and that's just one person who's like, I will sell it for just like, a cheap $200, and kudos to them, because I appreciate people like that who are like, I'm going to combat this like this wave of people just trying to like gobble up all the cards, and I've done that before with cards myself. I sell them for $5-10 under value sometimes, just because I'm like, I just would prefer people to have cards proliferated than try to extort everyone. But regardless, if you had hopes to get a Ring of Morrigan, well, it's up there. And I can only hope that at some point Eric's Curiosa does like a revised set. And they have said in the past that they may not be able to reprint a lot of the Arthurian Legends stuff willy-nilly, like exactly as is. But the whole point of like revised or chronicles, something like that, Eric's Curiosa could very well do that in a year or two for some of these cards that are giant. And these cards will still maintain value because they're like more of the original settings. Like if you had alpha or beta, cores, stuff like that, then that stuff will still maintain value. But if you have some later set, God forbid it's like white border, because that would be ugly. But um, yeah, you could reprint those, and as we can see, looking at like unlimited or alpha and beta, it has much more to do with the supply than it has to do with the fact that cards are reprinted. Uh, as far as price goes, like a beta Shivan Dragon is far more expensive than a revised Shivan Dragon, and there's a reason for that. Um, it's just supply. It's not that you're. It's not that reprinting the card suddenly tanked all the alpha and beta cards. So I wouldn't worry about that, finance bros, if you're watching. But for the consumer, this is a rough spot because Ring of Morgan's such a beautiful card. I mean, as I look at it, it just looks stunning, but also good looking and powerful at the same time. So this is what it is. If you want to play competitive sorcery, you probably have to get a Ring of Morgan. Maybe you can borrow one from somebody. Who knows if this keeps going up? Maybe tournaments will start allowing some proxies. Who knows? We're getting into more of unknown territory for sorcery here, and we can only do conjecture. But that's the last bit of news that was like really big in the sorcery world, I think, as of now. I am currently trying to see how to get to the next Sorcery Con, wherever it may be. I would love to go and take some friends on a road trip to wherever the Sorcery Con is, meet all of you, bring this multiplayer mat, have a blast. I think I'm really going to try and do that because I'm just in love with the game, and I'm super excited to talk with all of you in the comments. And I'd love to test it out. I don't have like a real good competitive scene right around me, real close. So I continue to try and grow that or push that, but it's slow going. So I'd love to just play some 1v1 games for some real stakes, or maybe draft, something like that. Well, if you've enjoyed talking about multiplayer sorcery somewhat and then kind of going off the beaten path, give this video a watch. This thing, I think, only has, I don't know how many views yet, but I feel like it's not nearly enough. Let's see if they show. No, for some reason 1,000 views. So, I mean, it's up there, but like Wizards of Fun put a ton of work into this. The amount of editing they had to do was incredible. So, and I think it pays off. It looks like a blast to play. And yeah. So thank you all for watching. Remember, subscribe. We're trying to hit the 500 subscriber mark is our next milestone, and we're getting there. We're at like 432 or something. That's awesome. I'm so thankful. And coming up next week, I think we'll probably have some box openings by that point. Maybe another deck tech. Thank you so much for the comments on the Geomancer deck. That has been a blast to play and also to hear you guys talking about it. Yeah, and so we got some more fun stuff planned. And I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you soon, hopefully contesting the realm, maybe even at Sorcery Con if I can get there. So, till then, see you later.